Hello everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make the dotted stripe friendship bracelet. This is pattern 56983 on Bracelet Book. I'll have the link for that in the description if you want it, so let's get started. For this bracelet, you're going to need embroidery floss or yarn or string, a thumbtack in case you mess up, scissors to cut your string, and your method of securing your bracelet. In my case, I'm going to be using tape, but you could also use a clipboard, a water bottle, or your own jeans. This pattern calls for 10 colors and 18 strings. However, you can modify this however you would like, but just remember, the more strings you use, the thicker the bracelet's going to be, and the less strings you use, the thinner the bracelet's going to be. In my case, I'll be using the recommended amount of strings for the pattern. The Bracelet Book pattern calls for 9 normal colors, and 1 color you're going to use for your stripes. This pattern recommends you use 9 colored strings and then 1 string which is gonna not show up that much in the bracelet as like kind of the spacer. What I mean is you could see that there's this purple part right here as a stripe, and then you can see there is a solid candy stripe right after that. This pattern is extremely easy. There is only 2 repeating rows and you only need to know forward and backward knots. I definitely say that this pattern is beginner friendly. Starting off with your colored strings, this bracelet does not allow you to make a loop if you're using different colors, so I recommend measuring half your wingspan. You are going to cut half your wingspan of every single one of your normal colors right here. So these are the colors that are not going to be the solid stripe. If you're following the pattern on Bracelet Book, your colored strings should add up to 9. Once you've cut your 9 colored strings, I recommend putting these to the side. We are now going to be focusing on the spacer strings. For the spacer strings, I'm going to be using black embroidery floss. You are going to cut 9 of your spacer strings. However, I recommend measuring out to your wingspan for the spacer strings, considering the fact that they make more knots than the actual colored strings in this bracelet. It is totally up to you, but I'm just putting this as a caution in case you ever run out of string, because that is a pain to add more string. Once you're done cutting your 9 spacer strings, you should have 9 color strings and 9 spacer strings. It should add up to 18. If it doesn't add up to 18, try recounting multiple times. I'm going to be using a half triangle start method for this bracelet. You can do a loop, but that means you cannot follow the directions I gave you the last few steps if you were planning on doing a loop. To make a half triangle start, you're first wanting to make an overhand knot. So basically, I take my pointed finger and I wrap it around like this until it makes an X on my finger, like that. Then I slip that off my finger and I slip the string through the knot like this. Then I tighten it. But instead of like pulling both sides, I hold the knot and tighten it. You don't need a lot of room at the end, you just need enough that you could tie the bracelet once you're done making it. Now is the time you should be taping down or clipping your bracelet to a clipboard. Now that you've gotten your bracelet secured, it is time to start making the triangle end. To make a half triangle start, you're going to take the first string in your pattern. In this case, we're going to be taking one of our black strings or spacer strings, and you simply just make a backwards knot over the whole entire bundle. If you need a refreshment on a backward knot, you make a backwards triangle, you put it over and under the rest of the strings and you pull it up. Then you repeat that. Now you may see that some of the color is showing at the top of the knot. If that's the case, you could just fiddle around with it. Since it's going over a ton of string, it's not going to tighten up that much. The more strings you add to this half triangle end, the tighter the end is going to get. So I'm going to put this black string to the side now that I am done the knot with it. In the next string, is our first color you want to show up in the bracelet. For me, I am going to choose this neon hot pink color right here. And you're just gonna bring it up and make sure it's not getting tangled with any of the other strings. You wanna make sure it's like clean up to the top. And you're going to do a backwards knot with that string. Now you're gonna put that string to the side. The next color is another one of your space strings. So, you're gonna take one of your space strings and you're going to pull it up. And then you're going to do a backward knot. You are going to repeat that order, space string, color string, space string, until you have only one string left. I will come back once I get that done. Okay, I have now sorted out all my strings in the order, space string, color string, space string, color string, and now it is time to actually start doing the pattern. So this first row is going to be extremely simple. If you don't know how to do this, you probably clicked on the wrong video. You're basically gonna take the furthest most string, which should be a space string, and you are going to make a candy stripe over every single one of the strings all the way down to the end. So that means you're going to make a forward knot starting from this side all the way down to here. So if you need help with a forward knot still, here's how you do it. So basically, you take the string, in my case, it's gonna be this black one right here. You're gonna make a 4 shape with your hand and you're going to slip it over and under like that and pull the string through. Then you're going to pull it up to the bracelet. Once you do that, you're going to repeat that over, under, through, pull, and you have made a forward knot. And you're going to repeat that process over all these other strings. Okay, now that you've made the candy stripe with this black string going all the way across, it's time for the second row. Now, this is the only other row that's different in this pattern. It's basically gonna repeat from last row to the row I'm about to show you, and then we're gonna do another candy stripe across. But first, let's get started with this next one. Basically, we are going to take the color that is furthest away from us. So I have this pink right here. And you're going to do 2 forward knots on the next space string and the next color string. So I'm gonna do that right now. Now that you've made 2 forward knots, you're going to make a backward knot with the next string. So basically, you're going to take your next string, which should be a space string, and you're going to take the space string and you're going to make it you're going to make a backward knot over the colored string. The next step is another backward knot. So you're going to take the colored string in my case it is yellow, and you're going to make another backward knot over the pink string, or over the string you are using. Now for the last backward knot, you are going to take another space string, which is going to be this one, and you're going to also, like again, make a backward knot over your colored string. Now that you've made those 3 backward knots, you can switch back to knotting the pink string over stuff, or your colored string over stuff. So basically, the next step is making 7 forward knots over the next 7 strings. So you're going to take your colored string and you're going to make 7 forward knots over the next 7 strings. So starting with this green string right here, I'm gonna make a forward knot. So in total, you should have made 7 forward knots, like the pattern says. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we are done making forward knots with this pink string for the moment. You can put the strings you've already knotted over to the side like I am doing. And what we are going to do is we're going to take the next black string right here, and we are going to make a backward knot over the pink string. Like this. Now you're going to take your purple string, or whatever next color string you have, and you're going to make another backward knot over that colored string. And then finally, you're going to take another space string and you're going to do a backward knot over that pink string. So you should have just made 3 backward knots over that pink string. Now you are at the end. At the end, with the final 2 strings, you're going to take your colored string and you're going to do a forward knot over both of these strings. Now, my bracelet may look a little bit wonky, but the more you get into that bracelet, the more the bracelet strings are going to straighten up and it's going to actually start looking like the pattern. The next row is like row 1. You're going to take your space string, which should be all the way on the edge, and you're going to take that string and you're going to make a candy stripe from this side all the way across to the other side. Okay, now that you've made this candy stripe, you're going to repeat the second row again. And basically that's it. So I'll come back in a little bit and show you the finished product. Okay, if you made it to this part of the video, I'm expecting you to already be done with your bracelet. Now I'm going to show you how you're going to end your friendship bracelet. So, you know at the top when we made this little triangle end right here? We're going to do this a little bit differently though. I'm going to unclip or in your case might be untape your bracelet. I am going to flip it over onto the back. I'm going to clip it back onto my clipboard, and I am going to make another triangle end. Instead, I am going to start on the very end of the bracelet. You're going to take the furthest right string and the string after it, and instead of making a backwards knot like you would do before, you're going to make a forward knot. Once you have made that forward knot, you're basically gonna group those two strings together and take the string after it and also make a forward knot. And basically, once you made a forward knot, you're gonna add that string into the bundle, then you're gonna take the next string, do a forward knot, and then put that into the bundle. And basically, you're gonna do that until you're all the way on this side of the bracelet. And this is how the bracelet turned out. I hope you learned something new today, and if you want to see more tutorials like this, feel free to subscribe to my channel.